The Utah Utes should just stay where they are, stay out west with another conference, go join the Mountain West, do something. Or Big 12, maybe you should just tell Utah to kick rocks and trade them for Washington State or Oregon State. Because do we really want them in our conference? And I'm not saying that for the reason you think. I'm going to explain right after this word from my sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com or come in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you. What is up, college sports fans, Big 12 fans, and fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? Welcome into another edition of Couz's Corner. Belly yourself up to the bar or grab a chair and let me serve you up another shot of top shelf college football content. On tap today, we are talking about the Utah Utes. The Utah Utes that will be joining the Big 12 Conference in 2024. Now, there's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of, in some ways, it's gotten ugly, to be honest, but on social media between Utah fans and fans of other Big 12 teams, current Big 12 teams. Utah has done a pretty good job, Utah fans, of making Utah the new villain of the Big 12. But what I want to focus on in this video is not that. The reason I'm saying the Big 12 should reconsider adding Utah, and it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, to be honest. I don't really think they should reconsider adding them, but is because they're going to be really freaking good, more than likely, in football. They might come in and absolutely dominate the Big 12 in 2024, and they could be the odds-on favorite to win the conference the day they step in the door, folks. And let me explain why. First of all, you look at Kyle Whittingham, their coach. If you don't think Kyle Whittingham is one of the best coaches in college football, you probably need to reevaluate how much you know about ball, number one. The guy has been successful for years. He's one of the top coaches in the country, and he's done it at a place that's hard to win at, folks. In my opinion, I mean, heck, Utah's only been a Power 5 school for a little over a decade, and yet they're winning Pac-12 championships. They've won 2 in a row and could potentially win their 3rd in a row if they keep playing the way they've been playing. Now, they have Oregon coming to town this weekend. It's going to be a tough one. College game day's coming to Salt Lake City. Should be a fun game. And guys, they're doing it without their star quarterback, Cam Rising. That's remarkable. And they have a star tight end who's on the shelf in Brent Queith. They have 2 studs, 2 star players on the shelf from the offensive side of the ball, and they're still winning football games because they're doing it with defense this year. They find ways to win games, folks, and that's what good coaches and good programs do. And the reason I'm worried about next year, them being so good next year, is when you look at their roster, they're winning games, guys. They're 6-1 right now, a top 15 team in the country, and they're doing it with a lot of underclassmen on their roster. I mean, you look at their 2 deep right now. I looked at a depth chart, and I know their depth chart has been screwed all to heck because of injuries and that kind of thing. I get that. But this is the only depth chart I could find, and I got the depth chart that was out before their USC game this past weekend. Okay? And on it, they had, on the offensive side of the ball, they had 12 underclassmen in the 2 deep, and an underclassman is a freshman or a sophomore. And they only had 3 seniors on the 2 deep. Now, I'm not counting Cam Rising or Brant Queith because, like I said, they're both out with injuries. So I'm not even counting those guys as the seniors. And on the defensive side, you've got 13 underclassmen on the 2 deep with only 2 seniors. Now, I understand they have a couple of players on the defensive side of the ball that are juniors that may not be back next year, most notably free safety Cole Bishop, who's right now listed as a likely fourth-round draft pick, according to NFLBuzz.com, NFLDraftBuzz.com. He's projected as a 4th-round pick, so he likely won't be back next year. And then you've got defensive end Jonah Ellis, who right now is 2nd in all of college football, all of FBS with 10 sacks, and is 1st in the Power 5. So he's playing really, really good. And he could end up going pro after this season too. So even if you take those guys out of the equation, they're going to have 13 guys back on their 2 deep next year from a 6-1, what is now a 6-1, and will likely, be one of the top teams in the Pac-12 for sure, if not one of the top teams in the country by the end of this season. That's if you're a Big 12 coach or a Big 12 fan, that should concern you. Now, for the health of the conference, it's a good thing. We need a team like Utah. We need the big brands, the successful teams that can get it done on the field like Utah. They're going to be a great addition to the competitiveness of this league. Could end up being the top brand in the league at some point if they stay in the conference long enough. If they don't do what many of their fans think are going to happen and end up in the Big Ten at some point, they could carry the torch for the Big 12. I'm hoping my team, West Virginia, starts winning games and starts doing, being the torch bearer. But as of right now, that's not looking too good. But Utah could be that team. Now, and I know Colorado fans might have an argument to make along with many other fan bases, but let's focus on Utah right now. Very, very deep with underclassmen on their 2 deep. Now, let's talk about Cam Rising and Brent Queith for just a minute. Both of those guys who are out for the whole season with injuries that were sustained in games last season have decided to not try to come back this year and to take a medical red shirt. What's that mean? It means if their red shirt gets approved, they will have another year of eligibility and could be back next year for Utah's first year in the Big 12. How does that make you feel, Big 12 fans? Brent Queith caught 50 balls for over 600 yards 2 years ago. Was an all Pac-12 tight end. We know about Cam Rising. We know how good he was. He was in the Heisman conversation coming into the year before they realized that injury was going to keep him out for the whole season. 2 stars. They're going to be, 23, 24-year-old seniors next year if they come back, if they're granted their medical red shirt. And let's just imagine Cam Rising's not able to play. Let's say his red shirt doesn't get granted. They're winning games right now with a guy named Bryson Barnes, who coming into the year was their 4th-string quarterback. Well, guess what, folks? He will likely be back next year because he's a junior. His backup, Nick Johnson, a freshman. And they have a commitment for next year's class, the 24 class, who would be a true freshman when they enter the league. You might recognize his last name. Young man's name is Isaac Wilson. Why does that last name ring a bell? You may know his brother, Zach Wilson, former BYU star, who, oh, by the way, is now the starting quarterback for the New York Jets. Isaac Wilson, a 4-star recruit with a 90 grade, according to 24/7 Sports, has verbally committed to the Utah Utes for 2024. So their quarterback room is going to be talented even without Cam Rising. And if he comes back, Katie barred the door to be even more talented. Folks, I'm telling you, it's lining up right now. And I understand all of this is dependent on how many, they could lose some guys to the portal. They could lose more guys to injuries. I get all that. And oh, by the way, speaking of injuries, this Utah team has like double-digit guys with season-ending injuries on this roster. I don't know the number, but it's a lot. In addition to Queith and Rising, they just lost one of their star linebackers to a season-ending injury. They have been decimated with injuries, and they're still winning ball games, folks. Most teams can't do that. Now, can they keep it up? We'll see. But man, you gotta tip your hat to this coaching staff and this team and these players. They've done a great job. A lot of those guys that are out hurt will be back next year because most of them are not seniors, and the ones who are, like I mentioned, with Queith and Rising's case, in their case, they're going to get medical red shirts or at least apply for them. So it's lining up for this to be an extremely talented roster going into 2024. And they, like I said, they could walk into Big 12 on day one and be the favorite to win the league and potentially even make it to the college football playoff, especially since they're going to be expanding it to 12 next season. With that being said, I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Do you feel as confident as I do that Utah has the opportunity to come in and dominate the Big 12 conference, or at least be the top contender for the championship next season, the conference championship? Do you agree with me? Or do you think I'm overvaluing their team? I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Also, If you want to support me, guys, there's several ways you can do it. If you want to support me free, the comment is one part of that. There's also the like button. It's the thumbs up button. Hit that. That's a like. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. You can share this with your family and friends. Let them know about Couz's Corner, especially if they like Big 12 football, West Virginia football, and conference realignment talk. That's what I'm here for. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? You need to do that, folks, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of future uploads. And when I go live, it'll notify you. Hit that bell and the subscription button. Now, if you want to support me financially, a couple ways you can do it right now. Take advantage of a sale in my merch store through October 24th. Get 25% off any purchase with the link in the description box. Items with my new logo, several other designs to choose from as well. A lot of different products like hoodies, ball caps, T-shirts, beanies, coffee mugs, all kinds of different products to choose from over there. You can also hit the heart button with a $sign in it below. That's a one-time donation. It's called the Super Thanks. Hit that. Make a one-time donation along with a comment. It'll highlight it for me and I'll get to it. And another way, if you want to support me every month and do it easily, money comes right out of your bank account, hit the join button below. And if you don't see a join button because of the device you're on, in my description box, there'll be a link where you can join my channel, become a pub level member like the people you see on the screen now, $2.99 a month, or a club level member for $4.99 a month and get a few extra perks at that level. With that being said, guys, I really appreciate you tuning into this episode of Couz's Corner. I really hope you have a top shelf day and a top shelf week. And until I see you next time, Q Country Roads.